If you think your CPA is fixing your books, I want you to think again. QuickBooks is supposed to give you clarity, but if you have even one of these 9 errors, you could be overpaying in taxes, making decisions on bad data, or even one IRS letter away from panic. And I can't tell you how many business owners have said, I thought my QuickBooks was fine, until tax season hit and I realized I didn't have the answers to the questions I was being asked, and I realized I couldn't even pay myself. So today I'm walking you through the 9 most costly mistakes hiding inside of QuickBooks Online and how to spot them before they drain your growth and your cash. If you want to follow along, I have linked a free guide in the description. And it is a 15-minute spot check that you can run today inside of your business. Real quick, I'm Bridget from Vector Financial, and I have reviewed hundreds of QuickBooks files for agencies, coaches, and service providers. And here's 2 truths for you. 1, I have never seen a perfect QuickBooks file. And 2, almost every single one has had 3 to 4 of the errors that I'm going to go through today. And those errors, they don't just mess up your report. They also mess up your confidence, your paycheck, and your peace of mind. So without any more ado, let's hop into the 9 errors. And we're gonna start with the very first one of income not being tracked properly. This can mean duplicate deposits or payments that don't match invoices. So this inflates your revenue, definitely confuses your tax bill, and makes you think that you are making more money than you really are. A quick example here is when you have $10,000 in sales, but you really only collected $7,000. This is what I call phantom profit, and it causes you to make decisions based on bad data. And we see this happening all the time. Error number 2 is mixing personal and business expenses. If you are doing this, I want you to stop today. So if there are groceries on your business card or other personal expenses out of your business account, this is an IRS audit trigger, and it can even pierce what they call your corporate veil, meaning that your company's setup won't be as protected because you are intermixing these 2 expenses. So if you don't already have a dedicated business account or business credit card, I encourage you to open that today and exclusively use that for business transactions. Now you may be asking, but I need to pay for personal things out of my business because it's my income. I hear you. What I want you to do is make a transfer from your business account to your personal account, and all your personal expenses are paid from that personal account. That keeps you in compliance, it avoids those audit triggers, and it just keeps everything very clean for you. Error number 3 is duplicate transactions. So this could happen when a bill is entered twice, maybe once manually and once via a banking feed. And this means that your expenses are inflated and you will be underpaying in taxes. The alternate to this could also be duplicated transactions of too much income. So you may record income twice. That means that you are overpaying in taxes. We see this happening quite frequently, either banking feeds not being set up correctly, too many hands in the QuickBooks file recording things, missing reconciliations, which I might talk about here in a little bit. But this is a big one that can cause some huge costly mistakes, especially around taxes and when making your business decisions. So if you're already sweating a little when I've only gone through these first 3, I want to first say you are not alone. Almost every file that I have seen has at least 3 of the 9 errors that I'm talking today, and definitely have one of the first 3. So you can still grab that free checklist that I mentioned and see how many of these 9 errors are hiding inside your QuickBooks file. Error number 4 is misclassified transfers or payments. This typically shows up when loans are booked as expenses or transfers are showing up as income. So let's say you did make a transfer in between business accounts, or you transferred from a personal account to your business account and it got recorded as income. This not only distorts your profit, but it can also hide deductions, meaning you might be missing out on loan interest that you could be deducting, or you might be claiming too much income and paying taxes on more revenue than what you actually made. Error number 5 is missing sales tax or payroll liabilities. So not recording these can create some really nasty surprises for you. This can include IRS penalties, state audits, and cash flow nightmares. So you'll want to be sure that all of these liabilities are properly recorded and showing up inside of your QuickBooks file. Error number 6 is undeposited funds balance. This is one that we see pretty frequently where payments get recorded, but they're never deposited. So if you've ever gone to your Make Deposit screen inside of QuickBooks and you've seen a list of deposits or revenue that you're like, I don't have these to be deposited, this means that your income is either underreported or duplicated and that you have errors inside of your QuickBooks where you have revenue that aren't actually matching up to invoices. So undeposited funds should either be at 0 or should only be the total of checks and cash that you still need to take to the bank. So I consider undeposited funds almost like a bank bag, right? So if you've collected checks or you've collected cash and you haven't quite driven them to the bank yet, they would be sitting in this undeposited funds account. So if your balance of what you are showing still needs to be taken to the bank does not match what QuickBooks has, you already know that you have an error inside of this account. Error number 7, I kind of chuckle at because this is what I call the fake account inside of QuickBooks. It is the opening balance equity account, and this account should always be 0. If it is not, you already have a giant red flag that something is wrong inside of your QuickBooks, and likely your setup is wrong too. So this would be one you definitely want to solve before you file taxes or make decisions on your QuickBooks data. Error number 8 is unreconciled transactions. If you have not reconciled your accounts in months or ever inside of QuickBooks, and yes, that is super common, so no judgment here, we see it all the time. I want to first say the reports that you are getting out of QuickBooks are unreliable, and your tax return is based on fiction. So please, please, please do not take your QuickBooks file to another tax appointment until all of your reconciliations are caught up. And the most common thing we hear around these unreconciled transactions or when business owners try to catch up their reconciliations is none of my balances match. Well, that's probably because you have other errors inside of your QuickBooks. And I'm going to tell you here in just a second the easiest way to get your QuickBooks cleaned up. And error number 9 is negative asset or liability account. These can be found inside of your balance sheet report. So a negative loan or credit card balance is a clear sign that something is off, and it also looks risky to banks and investors. In fact, we recently had a client come to us who said, we're going to need your help. We were sent to you from our tax preparer. They don't assist in this level of cleanup, and we want to get an SBA loan to expand. However, at first glance of their books, the loan officer said, hold up, you need these cleaned up before we can move ahead with your loan application. Meaning there are errors sitting inside of their reports, and the loan advisor knows that they cannot possibly approve them for a loan. So this is a big issue and something you definitely want cleaned up, even if you aren't looking to expand, because if you ever want to sell or get a loan, this would be very important in both of those processes. So if you've listened to these 9 errors, I want to tell you, you are not alone. I had an agency owner that came to me a few years ago who swore that their QuickBooks file was fine. When we dug into it, we found that they had duplicate income, unreconciled accounts, like I mentioned, that's pretty common with almost every file we review, and payroll liabilities that weren't recorded. So they thought they were profitable, but what we found out at the end of the review and the cleanup is that they actually had 2 clients that they were paying to work with them, meaning they were not making any revenue off them and they were paying to have their services go to these clients. They were in the negative. So once we were able to get everything cleaned up, they finally saw what services made them money and they were able to cut the ones that were actually draining cash outside of their business. And this is what Decision Ready QuickBooks really provides and delivers to you. So do you know or actually know if your QuickBooks is telling the truth? Or are you scaling your business on cash leaks or even worse, paying taxes on money that you didn't even make? I have two clear paths for you for a solution. And step one, I want you to download the free guide that I mentioned. The 9 costly QuickBooks mistakes that will keep you broke and that are hiding inside of your QuickBooks. You can run a quick 15-minute spot check today. In fact, when you download that, you will get a series of very quick videos inside of emails for each one of these to show you exactly where to go inside of your QuickBooks file to find these errors. And step 2, if you want expert eyes, I encourage you to book one of our QuickBooks health checks. In just 48 hours, we will show you where your money leaks are, what you need to fix first, and you will walk away with a 90-day clarity plan. Because clean books create clear numbers, and clear numbers lead to confident decisions. And ultimately, we want to see you succeed because we know you are working hard and your finances should work just as hard for you. So I hope this was super helpful. Go find those mistakes inside of your QuickBooks before you make another decision or file taxes, and we are here to support you along the way. I will see you in our next video.